Like, who in their right mind is like dating somebody and you have like the cheat code to make their parents love you and they don't use it? It's a cheat code, man. I might need some like help with this one, if I'm honest with you. So we're gonna play a game of League. I think I've been missing some of the juju on the channel as far as like talking and discussing and the thing that like a lot of people subscribe to begin with. The fact of the matter is that like I don't want to say pride in myself, but like I spent a long time just telling stories on stream and talking about my experience with the human condition, I suppose. After 15 years, I feel like the well is kind of run dry and we're running through the same stories over and over again. So I was like, okay, how can we like kind of mix things up somewhat a little bit? And I thought, right, there's a possibility to tie it somewhat into League of Legends. What I thought would be like maybe an interesting thing to try and have a trial run on the channel or whatever. Just as like bringing it back to basics. Me rattling and prattling, chat, engagement. Also, just I love it when we have arguments and conversations, and then also, I don't know, fucking a little bit of something that's a hook for people to maybe get involved. And that was what I've called the Tribunal. So it's kind of League of Legends related in somewhat, but basically, I guess the idea is reading Reddit slop and us arguing about it for like half an hour. Thoughts upon that? We read off a Reddit story, and then it's just a conversation, I suppose. We decide whether or not we fire a person out of a fucking airlock or not. Am I the a-hole for not telling my girlfriend's parents that I speak their language for almost 3 years because they didn't ask? So the story begins. My girlfriend's parents speak Russian. I also speak Russian. Nothing about me would hint at that. My great-grandpa picked it up as a prisoner of war, gave it on to his children, and so did they. I took a Russian course ages ago to make the most out of my random, rudimentary Russian and just kept listening to and watching Russian content now and then and kept at it with what I would say a decent conversational level. My English is much better and my French and Italian are better as well. Therefore, never any reason to show that off. Never thought much of it. Met my girlfriend and she has Russian roots but doesn't speak Russian. It was never a topic. Her parents are native Russian speakers but also speak perfect German, which is my language. Couldn't tell they're born there. Those two do, however, have some short comments back and forth in Russian sometimes. Nothing delicate, nothing the rest of us wouldn't be allowed to hear. We always speak German and it's no issue for anybody. Their upbringing is almost never a topic apart from some funny anecdotes here and there about life as a kid back then. Nothing deep. The other day, a family friend of them, also Russian, came by. Nice evening as always. As older generations sometimes do, they were mocking my generation in a light-hearted, banter, joking sort of way. The friend at one point said something about how much tougher they are compared to us. In an equally joking banter kind of way, 100% that was the tone. I'm certain I didn't overstep on accident. I said, not literally, what would best be described as, well, bitch, I hope you're not scared to put your money where your mouth is in Russian. Shock, silence, rough language is normal. They wouldn't be offended over a bit of banter, I promise. Later, my girlfriend said that they were really disturbed that I was fluent in Russian. Wouldn't say that I am, but that's besides the point. And I had just left them in the dark about it. Thing is, they never asked. It was never a topic. They knew my great-grandpa was a prisoner of war in Siberia. I told them that when it was actually the topic, and we joked about it because some of my mother's family were locked up there at about the same time as well. Haha, they were cellmates kind of thing. But the language thing never came up and I just didn't think much about it. Nothing of gravity ever happened in Russian in the household. Half their family doesn't speak it. We all speak German to each other. I don't see how this matters. It wasn't eavesdropping either. They never shared a secret in Russian while I was there. I would have said something if that was the case, but it only ever was some random BS. So now they are cross because apparently I kept a major secret from them. I'm confused because nobody cared about that before and it wouldn't have changed a thing. We understood each other fine and still do. My girlfriend is stressed because she can see both sides but also thinks the drama is annoying and pointless. Am I guilty? Also, there's an edit here. My girlfriend always knew that he spoke Russian. I think that this person, there's a lot to unpack here, but I think we should get into some League of Legends. We have more of these to go through, by the way. We've got plenty more of these to go through. Okay. We're in. Welcome to League of Legends. Welcome to the Tribunal. Here, the meeting of the minds, the marketplace of ideas. This is where things truly matter. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't know who necessarily to blame in this particular situation. People were saying that he's not the asshole. I actually, like, I'm a little bit kind of like, he might be, but also, his girlfriend is probably like just as bad, if I'm being honest with you. I would say, I know that like being a polyglot and speaking like 4 or 5 different languages is probably something that people are like, it's no big deal. At no point, even when your friends' parents, your girlfriend's parents are speaking Russian, will you ever be like, oh, by the way, I also speak it? Because I feel like that's like a genuine like nuclear bomb You know, he said that they didn't say any secrets in front of him, but what if they did? What if they had like shit talked him, or like talked about something like incredibly personal in front of him, but they had no idea that he would understand it, and he just because he didn't say. I also think that the girlfriend is at fault here, because if she knew her boyfriend spoke like conversational Russian and her parents, like that's their main language or whatever, like they speak that like natively, his ass, like her ass should be saying something. I think it's the older generation thinking it's some kind of betrayal. I don't think it has anything to do with the older generation. I think I'd probably be like, what the hell? Why would you not mention that? Not because it's like old generation, whatever. I just feel like it's like kind of like socially normative to mention a fact about yourself when it's relevant, man. Because I'll be honest, they must have been like reasonably freaked out when they're making jokes with each other in Russian, and this kid who, as far as they know, doesn't speak one single word of it, says, bitch, why don't you put your money where your fucking mouth is? Would you not be terrified? Is that not reasonable to... Is that not a reasonable thing to be scared of? He doesn't need to explain himself to his girlfriend's grandparents. It's not just his girlfriend's grandparents, it's also his girlfriend's parents. Okay? Because it could be his future in-laws that he's had that, you know, about, you know what, this is just like a free. Hold on. Sorry, I might as well pick it up on the way around, man. Okay, I want to say, you said, if this is Am I the asshole, and they are mad because they can't talk shit behind their son-in-law's back, then he is not the asshole. I want to say that that isn't what we're saying here at all. They might not be betrayed because they can't talk shit. They might just be like, what the hell? Because they could have said like something personal about like their financials or their health, or like it could be, it's like their little thing, you know. They might flirt in Russian. They might be like, what's happening? And Bess has muted themselves and won't be able to type any messages in chat. I don't know what happened there, but I probably wasn't paying full attention. I'm torn because I think that one of the two of that particular couple are in the wrong, but I'm not quite sure who it is yet. I think as well, the fact that the thing you need to remember is they've been together for 3 years. And also in the original post when I read it, it didn't have, by the way, my girlfriend knew like the whole time. But 3 years is like a long time, man, for like that kind of information to like not be shared. It does kind of, I feel like it's like maybe like a younger generation thing. Again, also like, to be fair, I can appreciate this as a man. Like B will ask me like how some of my best friends are, and I'll be like, I don't know. I've got no idea. I didn't ask them. They'll be like, they'll be like, what's one of your very close friends' partner's name? And I'm like, I don't know. Why do you not know? I didn't ask. I just, you know, hold on though. There's actually some sauce happening here. Crash went crazy on it. I'm dead, C's. I'm surprised he kept it for that long. I mean, like, I guess so too. If they speak in Russian a lot on their own, and he's in the presence of them, if it was me, I would have said something. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, her family just assumed he didn't speak Russian, so that's on them. That's not. I don't feel like that's right, man. I don't feel like that's right. I guess, like, you're right. They assumed he didn't speak Russian. I suppose you should assume that everyone around you will always speak the language. But I don't know. That feels wrong to be like, everybody around you speaks the same language as you. They didn't speak Russian a lot. He said they mostly spoke German. Yeah, spoke German to him. But, like, I think their native language was Russian, right? All right, I don't know why I did. I mean, you know what? It paid off a little bit. I didn't have 6, but it's okay. That's a good point, actually. I'm curious what the never came up versus never asked distinction is, because if you're waiting to be explicitly asked, hey, do you speak Russian, that would probably never happen. I think I would agree. I would probably never ask somebody, hey, do you speak my language? Well, I guess like if I'm in another country, I would speak, do you speak English? When I was lying in a Spanish hospital bed like 3 weeks ago, there was a lot of me saying, do you speak English? Like a lot. Ross, if I slide you off an Italian at your face without knowing you're fluent in it, chances are you'd date me on the spot. Yeah. I mean, like, I've been in situations where that's happened. When I was in Japan, a bunch of like, you know, probably like early 20 teenagers started calling like me and my friends like dirty foreigners and stuff. Guess what happened, man? My friend who spoke Japanese was like, what did you just say? And then said boys. they said this, and then all of a sudden like 8 or 9 guys are like, you know, not chasing but scared, like these 3 like, you know, I guess like not teenagers but like, you know, young students down the street, man. They ran because we all stood up and were like, is that right? We were never gonna fight them, never gonna attack them. Just gotta know that your words have consequences, man. You shouldn't speak ill of somebody when they're standing right next to you if you know, if there's a 1% chance that they can understand what you're saying. You're allowed to talk shit about somebody in front of their face if you're speaking telepathically. How about that? But still, his parents weren't, you know, talking bad about him in front of him. I guess, is it behind his back or is it in front of him? That's a weird one. I simply cannot move. I cannot move, bros. The thing is, okay, you're saying they were making comments that he didn't understand, therefore it's behind his back. But also his daughter doesn't speak, their daughter doesn't speak English, Russian either. The daughter doesn't speak Russian. So are they talking behind their daughter's back? Like, kind of, maybe, but not really. The assumption is there's nothing insidious going on, right? But also, wait, listen, it doesn't have to be talking behind their back. If I'll be honest, man, like if I spoke like a language and I was living in a place where there maybe isn't that many of those people speaking that language, and like B said to me, what's your banking pin number, by the way? I'd be like, yeah, it's this number, you know? I'd probably be like a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for, 007 about it. There is a situation on this earth where I would be comfortable enough to give away my like banking details under the assumption that like that nobody there understands. Oh yeah, Shiba. I'm in trouble, lads. Okay, that was so good though, actually. I'm kind of taking one for the team, so to speak. Here's the thing, do you know how this could have all been solved? Like super duper easily? Because I think that this guy like has got some like, he's not like necessarily the most, I'm sorry to say, but I don't think he's like super socially aware of some associative norms, right? Because you know what, man? See, if you're meeting your parents and you're like your girlfriend's parents for the first time, or like the first couple of times you meet them, and she's like, oh yeah, like they are native Russian speakers. Do you know how my ass, if I spoke Russian, would be acting if I wanted to gain their approval and get some brownie points with the in-laws? I would probably mention that I also spoke Russian. If I want to curry favor, if they started speaking Russian in front of me, I'd be like, I also speak this language. And then they'd be like, ah, one of us, join the fold. Like, who in their right mind is like dating somebody and you have like the cheat code to make their parents love you and they don't use it? It's a cheat code, man. It's such a good like GTA controller input that immediately gives you like, it gets rid of the wanted stars, man. It gets rid of the wanted stars. Because then you've got like an in-joke with her parents, man. She's not part of the joke. I guess it's not a joke to speak Russian, right? But like, you know, you know what I mean? Like you have a thing, you bonded so easily with her parents, and it takes no effort. It takes 0 effort, man, to do it. Well, it doesn't take 0 effort. You obviously have to like learn Russian first, okay? It's like actually quite a big effort depending on how good you are at learning languages. But like in this guy's case, it seems pretty easy. What if he doesn't think that he's that good at Russian? You don't have to be good at Russian. I'm gonna give you a life hack for like any country that you go to in the world. See if you like make an effort to speak to somebody in their language, you could be like kindergarten level, basically tripping over every word, and they will like you more because you're trying. It's an unbelievable hack. I spoke basically no Japanese, and like this guy was talking to one of my other friends. He was like, by the way, can you thank your friend me for trying to like speak to me in Japanese? And he told me, and I was like, that's very sweet of him. That's very sweet of him. It's very subjective, to be honest. Not everyone appreciates it. That is true. The Germans don't give a fuck. That is very true. That's hella true. I tried to speak to the Germans in German, and they did not give one Scheiße, man. They did not care. And then I was like, by the way, mein Deutsch ist nicht so good. My German is not so good. sprechen Sie English? And they said, yeah, ich spreche Sie English. And I said, okay, let's talk in English then. And then they would continue to talk in German. They have their own thing going on in that country, and it works for them. But yeah, certainly a confusing one. I'll take that as a win. That's where he's from. He's not necessarily, listen, because there's like, he could be like from Switzerland, okay? I'll be honest, like he isn't necessarily from Germany. We're making an assumption here. I don't know where he's from, but he also speaks like Italian and French, and that would indicate that maybe he isn't exactly from Germany. They're all speaking German. I know, but like, I don't. I guess you're making a point that's pretty solid, but like. Nice one. I guess we'll assume that they are German, right? I always feel so bad when I struggle with someone's accent. One of the things that I was complimented on was like my attempt at a Japanese accent, and that sounds a lot more. Oh, sorry, I was brain AFK. That sounds a lot more racist than it is, but it's just like, you don't want to go to Japan and be like, sumimasen, mate. Can you tell me where Korewa Pokemon Center is, bruv? You don't want to be like, hold on, Chutomate, mate. Okay, desuka, bro. Your Japanese Trump is pretty great, though. Yeah, because I put in the effort. Well, not really. Oh, hold on, Chutomate, mate. Obrigado, thank you. Sorry, masen. I had a friend, Terry, that I've been playing Classic with him a little bit actually, and his ass was in Japan like, "Origato, mate, origato." And I tell you, man, the Koreans loved him. The Koreans couldn't get enough of him. He was like the Korean whisperer. I shid you not. He was not like a move. Okay, hold on. You've thrown me a gauntlet here. British Trump trying to speak Japanese. Konnichiwa, mate. Namae wa desu. Trump, mate. Trump desu. Okay, desu ka, minasan. It's really difficult to do, man. It's like guys trying to do like a Bugs Bunny impression of Bugs Bunny impersonating Daffy Duck and Daffy Duck impersonating Bugs Bunny. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I'm just saying, right? Anybody that speaks a language that, like, let's say, like, anybody that speaks a language that isn't the native language of their country, right? So let's say you are, like, Indian living in, like, Scotland or something like that, and then you bring home, like, your son or your daughter brings home a partner, and they're not Indian, but you know, maybe like they're half Indian, or like, you know, their grandparents are Indian or something like that, or their grandparents were brought up in India and taught them Indian as a kid because it expands your horizon, expands your knowledge base, and makes you fucking mega mind, okay? And then would you not be like, whoa, awesome, holy shit, this is an awesome thing. This is very cool. Do you not see how crazy people go when white boy orders food in perfect Chinese? I'm telling you, man. People go crazy for that shit. This is Germany, not India. Okay, right. Sorry. Like, listen, there's a certain like global stereotype for the Germans on the international stage, right? I'd say. I don't believe that that's all true, okay? There's certain stereotypes that they kind of don't really give a monkeys about much. Is it true? It can't be true. I don't want to believe it. I want to believe that the Germans care. They think things are schön. And then when bad things happen, they say shade, okay? Watashi wa Nihongo ga sokoshi shika hanasemasen. For me personally, I'd be like, I Nihongo not so toku. Hold on, chotomate. Oh, you want me to go in? I'm going in! Oh. I think there's a bit of a hung jury here, as far as everybody's concerned. I personally feel like it'd be socially normative That I don't mean I'm saying this shit as if this kid could be like, you know, everybody's got like a little touch of autism. I know I personally have a big touch of it. When God made me, he used a broom, he used a mop to tar me with it. Damn, the jury's hung. But I don't know, I'm not saying he doesn't care about his future with this woman that he's dating. I get on great with like B's dad and like her stepmom. So, and that makes life so much better and easier, I would say. Getting on with the family, you know? And she gets on great with my family. I don't think he's an asshole. I would argue, I think that he's like maybe slightly socially inept in some cases. Because I'll be honest, 3 years is a fucking long time, okay? Depending on how old this guy is, right? It's a long ass time. Like, it's a pretty long relationship depending on how old you are, I think. Maybe he's not that old. He could be like 21. It's like, damn, bro, that's like quite a large chunk of your life. You've been dating this person, and that our parents don't know like quite an important fact about you. And do you know what? It's such a cop-out as well, can I say? When somebody is like, I didn't know that you speak, like for somebody said, like Vietnamese, right? Imagine your best friend. You became friends with somebody over the course of like several years. They became your best friend. And then they just started ripping Vietnamese one day. And they're like, what the fuck? You speak Vietnamese? And they're like, yeah, I always have. And you say, why would you not tell me something like that? At some point over the 3 years of adventures we've had together, you didn't ask, bro. You didn't ask me if I spoke Vietnamese. So why would I tell you? Why would I ask you that? Why would I ask you that? I'm going in. Oh, never mind. GG's. We've got more arguments where that came from. Do not worry. We'll be moving on to the next game. Am I the asshole for offering a frozen dinner to an uninvited guest at a dinner party? I have an opinion on this, but we'll get into it. A couple of times a year, I like to throw a nice dinner party for old friends. This time I invited 5 people, 2 were couples and 1 was single. We've all known each other for around 15 years and get together maybe every 3 months. I was making filet mignon and a small lobster tail with 2 sides. I spent over $300 and didn't buy extra because they're served 1 each per guest and are expensive. As a surprise to me, the single guest brought along his new girlfriend who I had not met or known about. I was nice about it, but upset because I only purchased enough meat and lobster tail for the guests who were invited. I talked to the friend who brought the uninvited guests and said that I didn't have extra food, and the filet mignon, cooked to individual doneness, and lobster tail isn't something that could be cut up and divided or spread out between more people, and I said that I had frozen pizza or another frozen dinner I could heat up. He was very upset with me and accused me of not liking his new girlfriend and trying to embarrass him. After his outburst, they left. Was I wrong? Should I have cut up the filet mignon and the lobster tails and spread out between extra people instead of offering a frozen meal? He also said, edit, I didn't think of them splitting their plates at the time. I have ADHD, so I have some issues with changing plans and multitasking. Anyway, another friend messaged tonight that the friend that brought the uninvited guests had been arguing with her before the dinner, so that was a part of the reason that he was upset and quick to leave. What do we think about this one? What do we think about this one? I have an opinion that I do think would be probably quite divisive on it. I personally think, and this is gonna be a nuclear bomb because you're probably thinking like I would say like no, fuck them. They can go to McDonald's on the way home. I'm not saying that he should go out and buy more filet mignon or should have had more on tap. I do think it is pretty fucking humiliating to get a frozen pizza though. I honestly don't know what the other option is, frankly. Okay. I don't know what the other option is, but I do know that like if everybody around you at a table is sitting with like filet mignon and lobster tail, the girlfriend didn't do anything, okay? The girl didn't do anything. But like if my boyfriend invites me to a dinner and I show up and I get turkey dinosaurs on my plate while everybody else is eating filet mignon and lobster tails, I would feel like a complete asshole, man. And I didn't do anything. I just got invited somewhere, man. But like, I'm also like offering them like a frozen pizza would be it's also kind of fucked up, actually. It's everything about it is fucked. So that's where we're at. Man invites 5 people, gets the 6th, and to be honest with you, I'll be real, right? Okay, I think that the fact that he's saying that like he said that he's like ADHD, like he's somewhere on like the spectrum, it's probably a big proponent to why this even became an issue to begin with. Because if I'm honest with you, okay, you get a 6th person. Like, you could probably like slice up the filet mignon and take like bits and bobs of it, and you could probably split some filet mignon up without people like really noticing if you like serve it and plate it correctly. Obviously, the issue, I guess, is that it was done to specific temperature. Like, it was done to, like, somebody got it rare, somebody got it medium done, medium rare, etc. So it's kind of like a bit of a smorgasbord of different different tastes and temperatures. But like, see, if I'm being honest, I could never do this, right? I feel like there's like a clash of ideals here. I would never show up to a party or anywhere that I was invited to myself with another person without explicitly asking the person that invited me, especially if I'm going into their home, if I could bring another person. Like, even though, I mean, people invite me places knowing full well that I come as a package with B, right? I come as a package with B. If somebody invites me somewhere, I'm gonna be like, I still ask, can I bring B? Even though they're inviting me knowing that she is going to come with me or I'm not going, basically, right? Because that's just kind of like what you do. Yeah, you still ask if you can bring your wife, as if you're gonna be like, sorry, Toots, I'm away out with the boys, right? Like, you're gonna ask your wife. I ask my future wife. I ask if me and my future wife can go. Because if my future wife cannot go, my fiance cannot come with me, then I'm probably not gonna go. And they're like, yeah, no, that's fine. But also, I've also been in the position of the host. And I do feel like there has to be a better solution than frozen pizza, man. There has to be a better solution. I think that like it was a bad situation for OP to be in. They were in a tight spot, but I also don't think they handled it well either. And I know that that's the part that people are gonna be really disagree with. They're gonna be like, no, fuck the guy and his girlfriend. Fuck both of them. If you showed up in my house, I would kill you. But I just think that like, there's got to be a somewhere between frozen dinosaur, like turkey dinosaur TV dinner, and filet mignon that we can bring ourselves to. OP admitted they didn't handle it well. That was an edit though. That was an edit after people had been like, hey, by the way, you could have done something different, okay? Because in the original post, they did not mention any wrongdoing. They were just like, was I the asshole? Because I don't think I was. I think that the boyfriend is insane. I think he's an insane person. Obviously, if somebody showed up with a guest uninvited to my home, I wouldn't say anything, right? I'd be like, oh, no, that's fine. I'd obviously be like internally screaming, I'm so sorry, I'm actually trolling with that one there. I would obviously be internally screaming, but I would still be like, no, it's fine. But that being said, I would also like definitely buy an extra. If I was making an expensive dinner, and I'm no chef, right? I can do like, I can cook whatever, but nothing. I've never made filet mignon. I've never done lobster tail. I've never eaten lobster for that matter. I am also like a prepper in some way, and I would probably buy like an extra one in case something went wrong. I would probably do that. I'm not saying that like it's expensive, so like you don't have to. I wouldn't. That's expensive. If I'm spending $300 on a dinner for my friends, all I'm saying is what's another $50, right? Here's the thing. I'd say like I'm quite a tight person. For the most part, I'll go to like the grocery store with B, and we'll see like something that's like £2.50, and I'll be like, nah, I'm getting the off-brand thing that's like 50 pence less, right? I'm not spending 50p. 50p is $1 billion as far as I'm concerned. But if I was, but when I'm like out with friends, I'll happily buy a drink for people, you know. I'll buy a £10 cocktail for a couple of people. Yeah, man. Sure, why not? I break bread with my friends, right? But I can also be stingy. So like if I'm buying all this stuff for a beautiful dinner that I'm making for like some of my closest friends, I would probably not worry about spending an extra $50 on like an extra little bit of lobster tail and a little bit extra filet mignon in order to make sure that nothing fucks up and I do not ruin the entire evening. Because what if like he burned one? What if he like got distracted because he has ADHD? What if he got distracted and fucking cooked one, man? Because then there's one person just not get one? You would spend $50 on somebody you don't know exists. I'm not saying that he's spending the $50 on her. I'm saying that like if he has ADHD and he does it and he makes the dinner, I would probably just get one extra. And if I don't mess up, then I can have filet mignon for myself at a later day. I appreciate that this is an insane angle that I'm coming at you like from. I get it, okay? It's a contingency plan in case of emergency. That's I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But also, even then, oh, hold on, there's something happening here. Yeah, I'm coming in. I am level 5 though, so I'm actually like not, I would say, not in the business of doing damn here. Never mind. Even professionals have off days, brother. Yeah, exactly. If you never like watched Kitchen Nightmares or anything, or Kitchen Hell's Kitchen, even people that are like professional chefs for like 20 years can like burn a piece of fish, you know? I don't think that like frozen pizza, because guess what, man? See if he burnt the filet mignon and like messed up a lobster tail, would he be offering frozen pizza to one of his guests because he did not have the 5th filet mignon or whatever for himself? No, he might say, take mine and I'll eat the frozen pizza. All right, maybe. And I'm not saying he should offer that to his uninvited guests. I'm just saying that like you gotta have a contingency plan if you're hosting. This is the thing about hosting, man. There's a lot of pressure on it that you don't expect. When I had my 30th birthday party, it was just in my house, but like there was a lot of people here, and I was fucking freaking out like the entire evening because I thought that I had to be like everywhere at once, talking to everybody to make sure that they weren't leaving my house being like, that was ass. And I got pissed drunk eventually. I think I despawned. It's just like part of hosting. I don't like hosting very often, man, if I can be real with you. It is a stressful situation for absolutely no reason. We hosted like B's family and my family, like my fiance's family and my family, and that was like squeaky bum time, man. That was squeaky bum time. If I'm making the food, I'm the first person to not get the food and I'd have the pizza. Yeah, once again, I don't think the guy has to give up his food for like a stranger that's just entered his house. But I'm just saying, like, all I'm saying is there has to be a step up from frozen pizza, but still a step down from filet mignon. Whoa, hold up. What's happening here? Hold on, I was actually like moonwalking there. I actually hit the... Oh, this is just stuff actually. Oh, that's not who I wanted to grab. Insanely sad, actually. Oh my god. I did not want to get that Xerath, that Jin. I wanted the Xerath. I should have ulted like earlier, but I kind of thought that we'd have more damage than that, to be honest. I was wrong. That was... When you host, yes, you do have certain expectations to make everyone not feel bad, but I guess also have a courtesy to be upfront. Yeah, I agree. For sure. Well, don't get it twisted. I still think this guy is nuts. Like, actually insane. I know she's like a new girlfriend, but like, still, you couldn't catch me dead. My mother would kill me, man, if she... I feel like would have raised me wrong if I came to someone's house with a guest uninvited. It's not the onus of the guest to be like, hello, I'm here. The social contract would say that like if somebody said, do you want to come, that the question's already been asked if they're allowed to come. But welcome to the world of hosting a dinner party, man. It's hell. Enjoy your stay. They should have been on the ball more, okay? He was being incredibly selfless, and then he had a new person dropped on his head, and he scrambled to make ends meet, and he said pizza. Like he tried, like he did try. It was a bad attempt, I would say, but like there's not really, I don't think he's winning in this one. The host is always gonna lose. If it was me, this person's still like one of my close friends, right? Like the person that I'm inviting to dinner, you know, they're still my friend. I still want them to have a good time. So I'll be honest, I'd probably give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm so slowed. Holy moly. Ooh, he's got fancy feet. Like, oh, this isn't just like also some like random guy that just brought a woman to my house. Like, this is like one of my very close friends, right? I would have just told the boyfriend to break up with his girlfriend. That's a good one. That's a great idea. That would simplify everything if people just listened to the things that you said, even if they were insane. I honestly would still be mad if someone didn't tell me even 2 hours before to say someone else is coming, so I can at least shit my... You need 2 hours notice to shit your pants? That's fair enough. Oh, to split the plate, not the relationship. Oh, right. Okay, yeah, no, that makes... That's way less insane. You want him to split, not with his GF, but split the food with his girlfriend. Okay, that's way less unhinged. I mean, to be honest with you, like, if I was also the boyfriend, I would probably be, like, pretty high on my list of recommendations. Be like, you know... I have the lobster tail, you have the filet mignon, and we'll just split. You should break up now. Here's the thing, as somebody who's like hosted a few things here, I have like some kind of like thing in my brain that's like, I know what I would do, and it's not what this person that hosted did. I would offer my shoes to my guests, man, if they came in socks. Is there a possibility of making something work here? Possibly not. We're getting kind of cooked up here, man. I'm definitely not doing nothing for anybody, though. Oh, mama! I have a short one for you now. This one is much shorter than the other ones. We're gonna do it mid-game. Am I the asshole for not letting my son have any birthday cake? My son, 7, was at our daughter's birthday party. He kept blowing her candles, despite us politely asking him not to numerous times, including a rhetorical question on whether or not he would like it if someone else did this at his birthday. I could see my daughter getting a tad distressed on her special day, so after she cut the cake, we gave birthday cake to all the children except our son. Now, certain members of our family are pissed. This is okay, this is a 7-year-old. It is insane to me that, like, I listen, okay, no, he needs to learn consequences. Just distract the child, okay? Like, it's so I feel like there is such an easy solution to this problem, man, and you don't have to give him cake, but like, what are we doing here, man? We should have, once again, it's all about contingency plans. The kid, if he's trying over and over again to do it, do you know what you should do? Okay. Okay, we got there. Who's okay? I'm not saying that we should like patronize a 7-year-old here, but you kind of have to wrangle a child sometimes, you know? Like, you have to be like, listen, come here. Move the child to the side, like have your arm on their shoulder next to them, firmly enough that they don't go running off or whatever, and then just let it happen. If they try and move, oh, come on, no, you stay here with me, and then problem sorted, right? Given a 7-year-old a rhetorical question, like, I don't even know if I had my first like sentient thought at 7 years old. I'm really not sure, man. Like, the kid's just excited about like birthday. I don't know why. Like, it doesn't even have to be like a parent that does it. You don't have to have a parent wrangle. If you want to be like in the pictures and be filming like your daughter, like, you don't have to be 10 toes. It doesn't have to be, get like an auntie, an uncle, a grandparent or whatever to just be like, okay, can you like look after him for like 30 seconds while we do the candles, we sing happy birthday, and then I'll take him, then you can like release the Kraken back onto the world, right? They should not need to hold him his whole life to make sure he doesn't do wrong. I guess, yeah, but like also, like, you see adults getting aggressive and their friends hold them back because they have a lapse of judgment. People have lapses of judgment all the time. Obviously, like, fighting somebody in the street is like a bit of like a step up in escalation from like blowing out like a birthday candle that isn't yours, right? But like, there's still like the same like idea that like somebody is in the midst of having a lapse of judgment and you need to kind of like gently be, well, it depends, gently or non-gently, whatever. If they're trying to start a fight, be like, hey, listen, no, like, let your sister like blow her candles, okay? You'll get yours at your birthday. And it's not like coddling. It's like, you know, just not like, I don't know. I don't want to say like not treating them respect. I don't know like what I'm trying to say here exactly. Oh, I'm dead. So are you. Like, I imagine that there was a conversation that was attempted with the child, but like, I don't think that the conversation needs to be like asking them a rhetorical question. I'm sure that there was more. Like, don't do that, you know. And the kid still kept trying to do it. But there's got to be more than like a rhetorical question. Like, you don't be asking them like, what did you, or like, how would you feel if you didn't eat breakfast today? That one that's like, I can't remember what it does, but it's something about critical thinking. There was a rhetorical question to the kid. Why they are 7? Yeah. The question was, would you like it if somebody did this at your birthday? And I guess like, yeah, obviously like the parent has a point. Are 7-year-olds known for their critical thinking skills? That's what I'm saying. They still like kind of like eat glue and like do dumb shit. They're just kind of like just less slightly less, I don't know about slightly, but like definitely considerably less intelligent people, man. They make mistakes and they're dumb. Nah, that's a fair question to start the thinking. Sure, but like, once again, I'm just like, I feel like there's you can skip the middleman entirely with just a hand on a shoulder. No, don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. I'm even sitting there like obviously I think like no cake or whatever is fine, but I like, it's a weird one, man, because like blowing out a candle is like such like a non-thing, really. Obviously like the daughter's upset, and that's something that's worth like, you know, no cake is like pretty tame as far as it goes, but I'm like, I don't know, man. It's a very I'm not a dad yet, but I feel like I already know how I'd probably attempt to handle that one. I certainly don't think it's like asking him a riddle as far as he's concerned. In the mind of a child, blowing out candles is a banger moment. That is very true. I don't know. I'm looking forward to reading the YouTube comments potentially on this one. This was the tribunal. I don't know exactly how it's gonna go. Consider this like a pilot, I guess, for maybe some potential future videos. It might always be League, it might not be League that's in the background while we have these kind of conversations, but I thoroughly enjoy having them because it pulls out some insane takes regardless, even if they're from me personally. If you have any feedback, suggestions, etc., please let me know in the comment section, or you tell me on twitch.tv/RossBoomsocks. I'd love that. Subscribe, have a great one. I'll see you all next time.